You've watched her on E! News and listened to her popular podcast, Lady Gang. Please welcome New York Times best-selling author and the creator, executive producer, and host of the new series Superfan, Keltie Knight.
Hi, I'm so excited. I've been trying to come to this for 6 years, so thanks for finally having me. I feel so cool. Gail, I'm also not a cool person. You said that in your acceptance speech. I think there's two kinds of women. There's cool girls and there's hustle girls, and I feel like in this room tonight, there's like a lot of hustle girls, and I see you. Get your hustle, get your hustle. Like I said, I'm so excited to be here. This next Gracie Award is special to me because obviously I love a good podcast, and like all women, I know how our health can change as we age. In the spring of 2022, Katie Couric realized that she had put off her annual mammogram appointment during the pandemic, which I think a lot of us did, and she decided to take her listeners along with her. She received the worst possible news, but the fearless journalist that she is, she faced it and allowed us behind the scenes for her cancer diagnosis and treatment, turning this personal life-altering journey into a learning experience for us all. Let's take a listen to an excerpt from her incredibly brave and educational podcast.
So we were chit-chatting, and I think I remember saying to you, Katie, there's something here that worries me. You know.
And you asked us to turn off the camera because we were recording this to use to remind women to get screened.
That is true. And I looked at you and I looked at the person who was imaging us and I said, I'm going to stop for a second. I think we really need to turn the camera off. I want to speak frankly. And you said, no, we can keep going. And I said, nope, turn that camera off.
Wow. The Gracie Award for Best Educational Podcast goes to Next Question with Katie Couric, and here to accept the honor on her behalf is her daughter, Ellie Monahan. Come on up, Ellie.
Congratulations. Mwah. Got it. Sorry, I know you're probably expecting my mom, but I'm Ellie. I'm Katie's daughter, and I'm going to pull a Jennifer Coolidge and put this down. Hi, I'm so honored to accept this award on behalf of my mom, Katie Couric. To quote one of my favorite childhood books, Friday, June 24th, 2022 was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It was the day the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and it was also the day I learned my mom had breast cancer. It was a double whammy that brought me to my knees and made me want to crawl into a deep, dark hole. The news that your mother has cancer will send anyone's world careening off its axis. For me, it was particularly debilitating because I had heard it before. 25 years earlier, when I was just 5 years old, my father, Jay Monahan, had been diagnosed with metastatic colon cancer, stage 4. He died 9 months later, leaving my mom a widow at 41 and me and my sister, who was only 2 at the time, fatherless. As soon as I heard that pernicious 6-letter word again, I went into shock. I simply could not compute that my mom, who's always been hyper-vigilant about her health, had cancer. But as it turns out, she, like many others, in the midst of a global pandemic, was 6 months behind on her screening and was now facing an indisputable diagnosis. Thankfully, the cancer was not advanced and was treated by a dream team of doctors, all of whom are women, I might add. They leapt into action, and by summer's end, my mom had had successful surgery and was undergoing radiation. It was scary, but she handled it all with humor and grace. And since she's done so much cancer advocacy work following the deaths of my father and aunt, she has an encyclopedic knowledge of the disease. She knows all too well that early detection is often the difference between life and death. Ever the reporter, she asked a million questions and documented her entire experience on her podcast, newsletter, and social platforms to help inform others, just as she did when she got a colonoscopy on national television. And because she had access to the best medical team and technology in the country, she's helped push forward the Find It Early Act, a bill introduced in Congress last December that will require insurance companies with no copay to cover the cost of additional screening for women with dense breasts. For the 45% of women over 40 who fall into this category, mammograms alone aren't enough, but too many of them can't afford potentially life-saving breast ultrasounds or MRIs. Sharing her experience in a deeply personal podcast, along with experts and other patients explaining the importance of screening in a welcoming, accessible, no-nonsense way, was completely natural for her. I'll forever be in awe of her relentless capacity to turn tragedy into advocacy, knowledge into power, and problems into solutions. I'm so grateful to the Gracies for honoring my mom. It's something I try to do every day. Thank you so much.